The following marketing information and discussion is provided for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as professional guidance or consultancy. You should find an agency for that. Comexis is a digital marketing agency, so feel free to hire us. But otherwise, just enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Buyer's Journey by Comexis, a discussion-based podcast on the ever-changing marketing landscape that affects how your customers and clients purchase, ultimately optimizing your marketing efforts. I'm Matthew McGrorty, the social media content producer here at Comexis.
I am Len Ward, the managing partner at Comexis.
And I'm Josh Lyons, the digital marketing coordinator here at Comexis.
It is Wednesday, folks, and on Wednesdays we talk about the purchase phase of the buyer's journey. For those of you who need a refresher, the purchase phase is exactly what you think. Somebody has come to purchase your product. And there's a lot more that goes into it. For example, how and on what platform did they purchase your product? That's a little bit of consideration as well, because it's kind of what's easiest, what are the shipping options, etc. But today we are talking about Instagram debuting an in-app checkout for e-commerce. And this is originally an article by Amy Gessenhues on Marketing Land, which will be linked in the blog description. She also has some fantastic images on how this entire process works. So Instagram at the moment is rolling out in-app checkout for a limited number of brands, which will allow users to purchase products from those brands in-app without leaving to another website, reducing significantly how many different clicks they have to go through to get to their final purchase. The limited launch has been extended to 23 brands, which includes Adidas, Burberry, Dior, and MAC Cosmetics. And the company said it will be making the feature available to more brands over the coming months. The new checkout feature displays a checkout on Instagram button whenever a user clicks on a product tag within an image. And once the user saves their purchasing information in Instagram, they'll be able to buy products via the checkout button directly in Instagram and manage their orders in the app. Quote, the new technology gives Adidas audiences the power to go from inspiration to purchase in an instant. Our consumer-obsessed approach to e-commerce focuses on a simplified, immersive connections with the brand, and Instagram shopping allows us to deliver a content-rich experience on a platform where our creators are exploring and curating their lives, said Adidas SVP of Digital, Scott Zelenzik. I really loved that he said go from inspiration to purchase.
Because it's consideration to purchase.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically if you wanted to buy something immediately without thinking about it. Anyway, what do we think about this before I get any amount of cynical about this cool program?
I mean, I like it. It's funny though, because it's definitely, you know, the rise of e-com now on social media. It's going to hurt two people. It's going to hurt, well, people, companies. It's going to hurt Google. As I've said a million times now, it's something like 41% of people who actually want to do a purchase, they actually don't go to Google anymore. They actually, if they're going to buy a product, they actually go to Amazon. They go to eBay. They don't go to Google. So Google's already beginning to prep for that. They already know that they're losing the e-com war to Amazon, and that, you know, that's just going to kind of pull it from them. However, I think that while they might have expected, I don't know if they expected the fastest growing social media platform to come in and be a player, and that's Instagram. This is a major problem for Google. This is a bit of a problem for Amazon too. Because, you know, this is a place where people historically are going to spend more face time on a place like Instagram, on a place like Facebook, but especially Instagram. They're not spending time per se on Amazon unless they're there specifically to shop. And, you know, people may argue and say, okay, well, that's a traffic Amazon wants and eBay wants. You're right, because they're there with a credit card and ready to buy. But, you know, this is the kind of thing where making it very easy, click, 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 when you see something on Instagram, and if it's an affordable product, you know, something where there's a famous line, it's like under like, you know, $19.99, people have no problem like going through the purchase, but the minute you get over like $20, they kind of back off. Those numbers may have changed. But it's interesting. I think it's really good for people who, if you are a company that's trying to crack the e-com world and you're lost in Amazon, you're concerned about the pay-per-click dollars on AdWords, you absolutely should be on this thing right here. This thing, if you have a product like that, I mean, if you can find the right audience, go in there and you will sell your product on here. I think it's a great thing for Instagram. It's good for the consumer. It's good for the marketer who really doesn't know how to get in here and is trying to, you know, affordably get in there. Now I know they're only doing large brands, but once they open this up to everybody, it's a good thing. And this is the first legitimate shot that I've seen where I'm like, wow, somebody's this is a direct shot at Amazon. There's no question.
Yeah.
So
Well, like I said before, like I'm not that big of a spender. Like I don't purchase a lot of things. I don't buy a lot of things, but I am much of an impulse buyer when it comes to products. So when you go on a platform like Instagram that's all visual, that you're scrolling through, you're seeing your friends, you're seeing brands, you're seeing influencers. Snapchat does something similar where you can have the swipe up feature to like jump right to a website, and then you can access the website directly on Snapchat without bouncing off Snapchat. Well, now you're getting the same idea with Instagram, except instead of going to the website to then follow through with the purchase, you can purchase immediately within a tap of, a button or two, depending on what the specifics are of the purchase. So for my type of buying habits, this will work really well because I'm gonna scroll through, I'm gonna see a sneaker that I really like, and I'm gonna literally click and buy it. And I also think it really works for people that are so uptight, that's not the right word, for people that are so close with their influencers, because now you have a brand that puts their shoe up to buy, but you could also have an influencer who's wearing that shoe on their physical Instagram page and have the ability to purchase right away. And usually, I think we talked about it on another show where influencer marketing was good for sort of the consideration, even some advocacy as we were going. But now you're jumping into influencer marketing, even jumping into the purchase stage, given that they can now influence purchases directly on their platform and on their physical Instagram page. It's interesting. It's gonna work. It's absolutely gonna work. Like, I don't think there's any question about it.
I think you brought up a lot of fantastic points. The first one that I want to mention is I think this, as they've already shown just by who's actually allowed to advertise and do things like this, I think this is going to be fantastic for clothing brands, sneaker brands, things like that, where people are going on Instagram and they want to see how these products look, even if it's how they look on a model or an influencer or whatever, right? And if that new shoe does come out, there you go. Just get it right on Instagram. Don't have to go anywhere else. Don't have to go on Nike's website or Adidas's website rather. To even get it. And Instagram had reported that the number of users that tap on product tags in the app every month has grown from 90 million last September to 130 million
I believe that.
now.
That makes sense.
And this is just one less click people have to make. I mean, I think about when you're talking about good user interface design on websites and things like that. It's important to make sure everything is easy. If you're trying to get people to certain information, the less clicks, the better. And we have literally probably 2 taps, and all of a sudden you're in checkout once you put your information in. There you go. One thing I do want to mention is that eMarket had a really great stat of mobile app users in North America who have made an in-app purchase by age as of January 2018. And basically it was 30% of individuals had made an in-app purchase. For 13 to 17-year-olds, it was about 14%. And then up until we get to about 45, it's 1, 2, and 2%. And then at 45 to 54, 9%, 55 to 64, 4%, and 65 to 74, 6%, which I think makes sense, but I expect those numbers to grow significantly. Also, they don't mention what these apps were, so I mean, there's a chance that some of these might have been like mobile games or something like that, not something as directly e-commerce as Instagram is going for here. So we'll see how it goes, but I agree with both of you that I think this is going to be really big for Instagram, and I'm looking forward to seeing if there's any products I end up liking on here that I will go through. Len, you mentioned that, this is just a little aside, you mentioned that you like to do in-app purchases like pretty often,
Yeah.
right?
No, I mean
Why is
something
that? Yeah.
something for Facebook, or how my typical buying patterns online are, if I see something on Facebook, if I see something on Instagram, not really LinkedIn, or I don't really respond to Twitter ads at all. Yeah, it's rare for Twitter ads, but it's funny though. I'm really not targeted right on Twitter. But when I see something on Facebook and I see something on Instagram, it'll take me a few clicks, but I will absolutely go through and make the purchase, and I'll make it right there, and I'll leave the site and I'll come back on. So for something like this, I would make the purchase on there and go right back to Instagram. I mean, I'm not on social media enough during the day to do it, but I will be very honest. The majority of the purchases I make If it's something that has to do with retail, entertainment per se, it's going to come from social media. It's going to come from me seeing it out there, clicking it, and buying it. So.
There you go. Well, that's all for today's episode of The Buyer's Journey. Check us out on Comexis.com, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts, such as the iTunes Podcast Store and Spotify. And follow us on Twitter at @buyers_journey. Thanks for listening.